Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Be My Guest. My name is Dave Mignano. Of course, here with another great guest to talk to you about their hospitality story. We're just gonna get right into that in 1 second. But first, as always, check us out on YouTube, hit me up on LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the good stuff. We have some more great stories coming out for you. Would love to connect with you. And of course, if you want to be on my guest, if you want to tell your hospitality story, by all means, reach out to me. I would love to have you on. So without further ado, another great guest coming on. And again, one of the ones that I really, really enjoy because I don't know anything about the guest today. Honestly, we've spoken very briefly on LinkedIn, and part of it was just really talking about business and not really talking about each other's personal experiences. And so the guest came across one of the videos and wanted to come on and be a guest on the show. So we are bringing her on. Let's just bring her right in. And I'm going to do my best to say this right, even though she just pronounced her name for me. I'm not the best at names. So Zana Usher. Did I say that right?
It's Zana Usher.
Zana Usher. See, I knew I was going to mess it up. So Zana Usher is here with us from ZD Hospitality. She's going to really tell us a great, great story about her hospitality experience, and then also dive into kind of what she's doing with ZD Hospitality. So Zana, again, I'm going to try not to say your name as much in the show as I normally might because I don't want to keep blowing it. But how are you today? Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much. It's my absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, no, thank you. So, like I said, I don't really know much about you. We've only spoken very briefly on LinkedIn. So why don't we just jump right into it? Give us your background. Give us your story. Tell us about your hospitality track.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Germany, Berlin. My dad was Hungarian. My mom was Serbian. My dad was a well-known chef in Berlin. My mom used to manage a housekeeping team of a medium-sized hotel in Berlin. And, I was practically born into a true hospitality family. From the time I can remember walking, talking, I was either at the hotel or I was at the restaurant. And I was just kind of thrown into this, whole hospitality experience without even knowing what it was. And then growing up, it just kind of embedded it in me that that's something I really want to do. I was always so drawn to, the multitask and the fast paced and the restaurant and the hospitality industry, just everybody talking loud and wanting this and wanting that. And the cycle of communication, just something that really I was drawn to. And that's kind of like how my journey began. My first job in the industry was at Burger King, and I absolutely fell in love with just cleaning trays and cleaning the tables and making sure the restaurant is nice and clean for the next guest. And then once I transferred to cashier, I was immediately hooked. So that's kind of like how everything started for me personally. I have my full education in Germany and Switzerland. I have a bachelor's in hospitality management. I speak 4 languages. I had the privilege of working for many, many, many beautiful, really, really, really great companies like Four Seasons, Hilton, Intercontinental, Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump, Fig and Olive, Café La Europe. I mean, there's so many, many amazing places that I had the privilege of being a part of. And, I just created my own company because I wanted to have an impact on my own. I feel like that I do have fantastic knowledge. I love people. And this is really the time, like right now is really the time to just help everybody out that really wants to be helped and wants to kind of like stand out of the crowd with their own establishment.
Absolutely. So really quick, what languages do you speak aside from English?
Well, I was born and raised in Germany, so I speak full German, fluently German, and my dad was Hungarian, so I speak fluently Hungarian. My mom was Serbian, so I speak fluently Serbian. And English, I had the privilege of learning English in school since 5th grade, and I loved the language of English. And I also know a little bit of French, and I do know some parts of Italian too. But really, I'm gonna stick with my four core languages.
That's pretty. I mean, listen, I have 1 core language, so that's pretty awesome, especially in hospitality, right? That can go a very long way, especially if you're moving around from different parts of the country, different parts of the globe. Depending on where you are, you're going to meet a lot of different people, and I'm sure you've experienced people in all your hospitality past that have spoken all 4 of those languages, and you've been a nice shining face to them. I mean, I've seen it where especially we're in the US, where it's primarily English, obviously, very heavily Spanish influenced. So sometimes you get in some of these hotels, especially in the bigger markets or the airport markets, someone comes across that's speaking a language that's not so prevalent. Say it's, any language that may not be prevalent. And if you have a hotelier, if you have an employee that speaks that language, you actually see their face light up.
Hmm.
It's just, it lights up. They're so excited. Even if they speak English perfectly fine,
Hmm.
the idea that they can communicate with someone in their foreign in their home language is just, I think it takes that state to the next level. So that's pretty awesome as part of your hospitality story.
Yeah, and it's, it's very helpful when you are from those cultures, and not only do you understand the language and you can kind of like click with them a little bit on a different level, but you understand the culture. So sometimes when you are training somebody, it's different when you are being able to break it down in their own culture with their own jokes, with their own
Yeah.
slang, because then they're getting it better, and they're understanding that you're really just there to kind of like help out and improve what they already know, but just help them improve in the areas that, are not maybe that polished yet, I'll say. So it's definitely helpful. And same with the guests. Guests love to be greeted and talked to and guided through the hotel or restaurant or through the menu in their own language, because again, it gives them the feeling of something homey, of
Yeah.
something warm and something. So it does really help me a whole lot, to be honest with you. And I use my languages on constant basis, especially German. I mean, there's so much German community everywhere. So
Right.
it does really help.
That's awesome. That's such an awesome story. So, you mentioned a bunch of different companies you worked for, especially namely the big brands. So, where have you worked for those hotels? Has it only been in one country? Have you worked around the world? Where have you worked?
Yeah, so it's not only been in one country, it's been in different countries. So I worked in Hungary, I worked in Germany, I worked in Switzerland, I worked in Canada, I worked in the United States. So it's a little bit of everything. Of course, there's countries that I'm missing, but
Right.
I'm not that old. So, and I've been traveling since I'm 20 almost, or 19. So yeah, I always made it a goal to really follow whatever job opportunity was given to me. And, a lot of times people would be like, well, is it hard for you to keep a job because you kind of bounce around a lot? And, to me, it was just a privilege of being in hospitality,
Yeah.
because that's what hospitality has to offer, the traveling and the learning the other cultures, and setting standards. And you take obviously some standards that you loved and you got embedded it into yourself, you take that to your next place, and then you learn new standards over there, and you kind of come up with your own little thing that works for you.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
the fact that I was able to travel and just see the world and meet so many amazing people and guests, I didn't want it to miss it. I mean, obviously, right now I have my home base. I still travel, I still go everywhere where people call me.
Yeah.
But I do have my home base, and I got my traveling bones a little out of me. So
That's so awesome. That's such a great story. I mean, I love hearing when people kind of just pop around the world a little bit, and learn those
yeah.
different cultures and how they cultivate themselves based on that. I mean, I've lived in one area of one country most of my life, but I've seen different kind of parts of those areas as I've bounced around, and I've certainly learned a lot about different cultures. And I mean, I'm in the New York City tri-state area, so we have a lot of cultures in very tight spaces.
Right.
So I've learned a lot about different cultures that that I would not have had that same experience had I just stayed in one area or one town or one general type of
Yeah.
place. So that's so cool. So I'm gonna put you on the spot now. Where was your favorite?
So to be honest with you, I had favorite teams where I
Okay.
really felt that the teamwork was outstanding. Like for instance, one of the places was in Florida, Cafila Europe. Like I've really loved the team environment, because it doesn't matter if you were a junior, a senior, a manager, everybody gave you the feeling that this is really, we're working for the same goal,
Right.
right? We're all working to achieve great revenue for the owners that we work for, but we also work for achieving our own revenue, and we also help each other out. So it was never the feeling of like, oh, that's not my job, or, oh yeah, you're just a junior or a senior, I can do that for you. Or, people really picked up each other's slacks just to accomplish the main goal, which was really to make the best experience for our guests. And it's rare, to be honest with you. Like, I've worked in so many places in so many countries, and I'm my main goal was always after a healthy team environment, like just healthy, just healthy and fun, and understanding that business is business, but we all are still humans. We do have still struggles. We do, have things that we deal with on a personal note. And it's great if that's being embraced by your manager or by your owners, understanding that you are here doing your very best, but you are allowed in your break to be a little down and get encouragement on the personal note too. So that's kind of like what I was always driven after. Even now in my own business, I'm trying to relate that to everybody I'm collaborating with, because we're all in this together, and we do have struggles. And the fact that our people, our employees, are still showing up for us every day at our job, that's huge, because they're building our dream. They're not building their own, they're building our dream. And for that, they do deserve acknowledgement. They do deserve a nice birthday gift card, or if they done a great job, they do deserve a little extra Starbucks card, or a nice bottle of wine, or something, one extra day paid off, or something where they feel like, wow, like I'm really being acknowledged for
Right.
my work. I'm really being acknowledged for everything that I bring to the table. I used to be one of the main waiters back in the days that really, and managers too, that really were revenue driven. And that's not, it's not easy, right? It takes work. It takes effort. It takes your brain to really function. It tells you to be healthy, to come every day fully charged to work and really wanting to do this job, and then a good acknowledgement always gave me more of a drive, always gave me more of a wow, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it tomorrow again.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
and I'm all team based. Like literally, I'm if anything, I'm always team player. Like I'm team. But I also understand the struggles of an owner and of an investor. It's tough, it's tough, because they do juggle a lot of responsibilities, and we, or people that just work for them, don't really see those struggles at all.
Right. Hey there, guys. Sorry, we had a little bit of a glitch there, a little tech issue, but we are right back in action. So Zania was just telling us about, some great parts of her team and things that you can do for your team to kind of help them stay motivated and stay energetic. And especially right now, right? People are feeling burned out. It's hard for employers to find employees. We know about the labor shortage for whatever various reasons there are. You can do that work yourself, but it's definitely an important thing to keep your team motivated and feeling appreciated prior to COVID.
Yeah.
Certainly much as important, if not more important, in the current climate.
Yes.
So I think you gave some great suggestions. So leading up to COVID, Zania, what were you doing? What was your position or role, or what were you into coming into March 2020?
I had a very challenging time, to be honest with you. So I started my own company. So basically what I'm doing with my own company now, I basically did my entire career for other people, that I worked for. And in late 2017, I just started building my own company. So I really done everything to just, build my website and build my concept and put my business plan together and all of that, what really comes to being your own business owner. And then, shortly after that, my mom passed away. So I really had a challenging time of keeping it all kind of like together. And I really put a lot of stuff that I was kind of like on the roll with going on the back burner to really just get myself together and really find, put back the pieces and all of that stuff, and really deal with, funeral in Germany and certain things in another country in Serbia. And there was a lot of pressure on me to kind of like deal with a bunch of stuff. And to be honest with you, the entire COVID time, I really just honed in on myself and really just meditated and prayed a lot and just really healed myself. I was trying to really get whole within inside of me with everything that was going on. And then, I remembered my actual dream, right? My dream that I had for so many years, for such a long time. And I felt like that was kind of like my calling, really to really just start fresh. And I did everything new. I created a new website. I created a new concept. I threw my business cards away. I created new business cards. And I just really basically started from complete zero. And, since then, I've been very privileged and very blessed to be on people's shows. I've been invited to so many great podcasts like you, and other people along that are really just seeing what I'm trying to accomplish and what my company is about. And
so what are you trying to accomplish? What is your company about?
I really, what I want to accomplish is I want to enhance the beautiful world of hospitality by just really giving people the opportunity to be trained and taught the things that they need on daily service basis. So my company really focuses on training front and back of the house in small detail stuff. How do we carry plates the proper way? What side do we put plates in? What side do we remove them? How do we remove plates? How do we carry plates? How do we change tablecloth when guests are sitting? How do we do wine service? How do we open a bottle of wine or champagne? How do we upsell? How do we talk to guests? How do we handle complaints? How do we just deal with daily communication circles between our team? How do we get our managers to be really the leaders of our team and helping them to succeed in their own role in also leading people? Because it's one thing to be a manager on paper or on your name tag, but it's a whole nother really to execute the role of a manager or investor or owner. And that's basically what we focus on. We really focus on training and educating hospitality staff in providing great, fantastic guest service in a European way, in a sense.
It's awesome. I mean, so let me ask you a question. How do you, because you can see, you go to hotels, you go to really any business, right? And there's sometimes can be a disconnect between leadership and the line level staff, right?
Yeah.
And, maybe leadership wants something done this way and line level's not getting it, not understanding why that wants to be done. So they're not really buying into it. So
Right.
how do you go about, without giving away your state secrets, of course, how do you go about, getting the people that you work with, the teams that you work with, to buy into what you're saying, not just while you're there, but long term?
So my concept is really not for anybody. I don't want people to buy into anything I'm saying because I am just me. I'm just Zana, right? But I am believing in a concept of product knowledge. Like literally product knowledge and the way you go about handling service is really what I'm trying to teach. Because it's one thing if you have this beautiful restaurant and this beautiful ambiance and this great music, this great furniture and everything is perfect, but then the waiter is just giving you sentences like, yeah, this is good on the menu, everything is good. Oh yeah, and you ask. So
Right.
that's really what I'm trying to change, and most of the time I get people to see when I'm presenting the other side of this is, if you try to go about the way I'm trying to teach you, you will make more revenue for yourself, which fundamentally that's what we all are after. We're waiters because fundamentally we like to be waiters, we like to be managers on a hospitality floor, but fundamentally we all are revenue driven. We want to come home and we want to have great tips. And how do we go about that? That's really what we teach. We help you teach to be a fantastic salesperson without being pushy. We help you to understand the guest's needs without communicating necessarily to them and asking them, but just watching out for their body language, just paying attention to small details. If somebody enters your establishment, it's your opportunity to really save their name in your system, save their number, save their email, talk to them, find out as much as information on a low-key note as you can, because that's how you build trust. That's how you build relationships with people, because nobody's going to find you just nice because you say hi and what's your order. People relate to people, right? And so I'm not trying to teach you to have a long drawn-out conversation and bother your guests, but I am trying to teach you how to engage in some ways where people feel that you're genuinely wanting to serve them. And a lot of people really have a difficult time with accepting that they are the servant of the guests, but really that's what we are. We are servant to this industry, and we got to make sure that our guests are being number one. So if we go the extra mile, if we find a way, if we don't use the word no or I can't, it's going to give the guest really the feeling of like, wow, this team really goes out for me. Like, wow, how fantastic would it be, David? Just imagine you enter a restaurant, you've never seen the host, you come to your table and the waiter says, hello, Mr. David, and fantastic. Those are little small details that we can train. It's nobody knows from the day they enter a restaurant how to be that, but that's the stuff that we focus on, is the attentiveness and the attention. And I don't feel anybody should ask for water, anybody should ask for nothing, because listen, when you come to a restaurant or a hotel, that's your time to be free and relaxed, and everything should be in a sense catered to you, right? And that's what a lot of people don't kind of like mix up, because it's sometimes it's a difficult job. People, you got to go by their body language. Do they want to talk? Do they don't? Do they have crossed hands? Are they open? Are they talkative? Are they not? And you kind of have to be a chameleon and adapt to your guest's energy, and trying to still make a crowny face to a smiley face by just your presence and your personality, and by just really wanting to do your job, and not because it pays your bills, but because that's in you and in your system.
It's your passion, right? It's we say this on the show a lot. There aren't many people in hospitality long term that don't find some sort of passion for it, some degree of passion for it, because it can be very difficult.
Very.
Very difficult from, whether you're in hotels, whether you're in restaurants, whether you're in cruise lines or any other of the number
Right.
of, parts of hospitality that you could potentially be in. It can be very, very difficult, but also very, very rewarding, both,
Hmm.
financially and also emotionally and in all these different ways.
All
So,
these things, yeah.
so tell me, for someone out there who may want to start their own business, but maybe they don't have the confidence in themselves, or maybe they don't feel like it's the right time, or
Hmm.
for whatever reason, a number of reasons why this may not happen for someone who does want to start a business.
Hmm.
What was when again, you were doing this back in 2017. What went through your head as you really started to develop this? But really, what was that mindset that you had to have that took you from, okay, this is a cool idea that I may want to pursue, to I'm going to jump off the cliff and I'm going to go for this?
So I think it's a little bit of everything, to be honest. It's kind of like my background, how I was raised. It's a little bit that I do believe in God. I do believe in my higher in a higher power than my own self. I've never done anything in my life because I was after money. Money somewhat always came to me without me chasing
Mm,
after the dollar. And I've never was worried in that aspect of my life. I always knew that I'm going to be okay. Like things will fall into place the way they will. And don't get me wrong, I had a lot of struggles, like the last 3 years with my mom passing. And that was tough, that was really, really tough. But I think the most thing that's really born inside of me is my own drive. Like I just had this idea. It was placed in me over 20 years ago. And it took me a long time coming. I had several business plans on paper. It didn't work out. This one didn't. And the time was not right. And for me to just to accept that the time will be right. And whenever I thought it's right, I just went after it. But fundamentally, there will never be a perfect time for anything, right?
mm,
It's just really, if you have something really in deep inside of you telling you, just go for it. Like that's the best advice I can give anybody that is really trying to do something, or trying to stop something or trying to start something, is literally listen to and hear. If this thing always keeps coming up telling you, and you always think about it, and it always comes up, and it always somehow ends up in somebody's conversation that you're having with somebody, it's meant to be for you. Just go get it. Just go get it. I mean, what can happen? Nothing can happen. You can always find a job.
it's
I
true.
mean, America is so beautiful and so big. America has so much to offer. Like you can always find a job in this beautiful country. But if there's really something that you want to do for yourself, right now is the best time to do that, because literally COVID mixed us all like this. You
Yeah,
know,
big
pe-
reset.
I mean, people in corporate America, like told me, oh my God, I've been doing this job since 20 years something, and I just gave it up because I just literally wanted to be free. I've never went camping. I just hung my job on the hanger, and
Right.
I'm a good one. Great, good for you in a sense. I
Yeah.
understand we all need money to survive, and I get that. But listen, if you have something in here, that's so much bigger. And if you believe in something that it will come to you, it's gonna come to you, and you're gonna be okay. Like just in a sense, don't worry, be happy.
I
you know
love what you said there, because that's a theme that we haven't necessarily touched on the show as much, but
Mhm.
it's something that we talk about a lot on No Vacancy Live, where the idea of following your passion
Yeah,
and the money will come,
right,
and not necessarily doing something for the money. Now, listen, like at the end of the day, everyone's financial situations are different, right?
right.
We're not sitting here and saying this is a blanket statement. And if you may be in a position where you need to chase the money because you just need that money to survive.
Yeah,
So, but don't think that we're both sitting here saying that. But
right.
a lot of times, if you can, especially as you're, developing your career, if you follow your passion, the
Mhm.
money eventually will find it, because you're going to perform at a better level than the people around you, and you're going to be more valuable than the people around you in that profession or in that field. So I really love what you were saying there about that. And yeah, COVID was basically a big reset for a lot of
Yeah.
people, and I think a lot of people have had time now, whether because they were laid off or furloughed or just staying at home, working from home,
Mhm.
you know, getting out of that daily rat race, they were able to find a passion that maybe they lost, or respark an interest that they maybe have, lost for a little while, whether it be something artistic, whether it be something fitness driven, whether it be something, reading. It could be anything. There's no
Right.
limit to what it could be. So, maybe this is an opportunity now to kind of hit that reset button and drive towards something that you've passionately been about. I mean, I'll just use myself as an example, if I may. You know,
Sure.
with this show and with No Vacancy Live and with another show that I'm actually developing right now, my original passion was broadcast television, broadcast journalism. That was my undergrad.
That's
And through various reasons, I lost that passion because I had to I got into hotels out of necessity, but I found a passion there as well. And I really
mhm.
enjoy being in hotels, but I also enjoy this side of the table. And that's
Right.
when I got involved with No Vacancy Live, which is a hospitality podcast. And
Love that podcast.
yeah, so that podcast basically saved me through the last year of giving me something to do, and being involved with Anthony and Glenn and doing something that was both of my passions coming together, right?
Right.
And while I'm staying in hotels, because I'm passionate about hotels, I'm also now going to be staying involved with podcasting and broadcasting and things like that, because that's a passion that I had, I
Mhm.
lost, and through COVID, it has been resparked. And I don't want to lose it again because I
Right.
truly enjoy it. So wherever these
I,
two
I love what
take
you,
me,
I love what you're saying because it's so amazing. The fact that you never forgot and still picked up, look what had happened. You collaborated with people that, let's maybe say 5 years ago, you wouldn't even think that that could be a collaboration. So I feel like, we're getting placed into situations and into circumstances that maybe seem scary and maybe seem like, oh my God, I'm losing it all. What's happening? But really, through that, we're meeting people, we're meeting
yeah,
opportunities that are not even, we're not after the opportunity, but it kind of falls into place in the correct way that fundamentally stuff that was really meant for you is going to come to you. And
yeah,
that's all where I'm coming from. Anything that you feel inside of here will come to you fundamentally, regardless of how. You might have to wait a little longer. It might not exactly go the way you think it would have went,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
And how often
But
do all of us, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just how, on that point, I think it's important to say, how often do all of us have this mindset, this plan, this
yeah,
this detailed map of how things are going to work, and how often does it never happen that way?
right.
And then you have a choice. You can say, okay, my path has been diverted, but I'm still going to go to my end goal, or it's not happening how I want it to happen. Forget this. I'm done. It's not going to work,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And people, I'll be honest with you, I was like that for a long time, and I've
Mhm.
worked hard over the last few years to get off that mindset. But in my mind, originally, when I was younger, it was, this isn't happening at the time I want it to happen, so now it's never going to happen, type of
Right.
thing, right?
Right.
And it's a dangerous mindset.
Yeah, it is. But we all learn. And
Yeah,
that's again, it's our life. It's you see, maybe you got this concept whenever you got it, whatever age you had at that time, and some people get it prior or later.
yep,
Some people don't get it at all. It's really like you said, it's a mindset, and it's really just a good belief within you. And just, a really good friend of me told me once, she said, just trust your life. And I love that. I love that because it's exactly what it is. Just trust your life, and whatever is meant to be for you is gonna come to you, no matter what, no matter how crazy the circumstances are, no matter how difficult, no matter what the struggle is. And like you said, there are people out there that are struggling every day, really just to pay, oh my God, just have something to eat, right?
yeah,
But whatever you feed with internally in you is going to get bigger. And if you feed your fear, if you feed your doubts, they're going to get bigger. If you feed the little seed inside of you that tells you, no, you can do this, and you feed it every day, and you just do affirmations. You see, I'm,
yeah.
I'm a big believer of affirmations. I like to stand in front of the mirror and tell myself, yeah, girl, you can do it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at that. So, I'll be honest with you, I'm terrible at that. But so let me ask you this: let's play devil's advocate here for a little bit. I'm listening to this show. I think what you're saying is great, but I am that person that is living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm working to live, and I'm working to eat, and I'm not
Yeah.
able to do these passions of mine because I have to focus on providing for me and for my family.
Mhm.
What would be your recommendation then to me to be able to pursue those passions?
I think a big thing for me was really vision boards. Like I truly, really believe in vision boards. I like to write stuff down because to me, when I think about it and I write it, I'm doing two things. I'm letting my mind tell me that I can because I'm actually writing it down. And then once it's written down on a piece of paper, I have proof that it can really exist. And that's everything that you need. If you are capable of living it in here and you're executing it in your brain and you're putting it on a piece of paper, it's your first step to anything, because then you have proof that you created this idea, right? It's on a piece of paper. And then, of course, patience, put up on your vision board, go about it. If you pray about it, pray and let it go. Don't focus on it. Don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it if it doesn't happen tomorrow, today, in a year. Don't just, ask, believe, receive. Literally.
Right.
Ask it, believe that it will come to you, and receive it. There's no other, and of course, we all been in this position. Only a few selected people were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Yeah. Only a few selected people. Majority of us is exactly like that. But for what worked for me personally was really to journal, write my plans down, see them on my vision board, and just visualize. I'm a big, how do you say that? Visualist?
Visualization?
Yeah, when you visualize, when you sit down during calmly and you just play your movie in your mind of how things can work out or how they will work out. I truly believe in that. I don't know if that's a internal connection with something, but if I feel like if I can see it for myself and I can put it on a piece of paper, I don't have more power other than doing that, and everything else will come from its own if it's meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, you hear a lot of successful people say that, right? That they've seen their success before it ever happened, right? And I think it's a true testament to the idea of that idea of you hear that saying, whether you think you can do it or not, you're right, right?
Both ways.
Whether you believe you can accomplish something or not, either way, you're going to be right, because it's going to set your destiny in motion, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really a great testament to that. If you can visualize yourself being successful, however that success takes form, you're putting yourself in that path. You're making your own luck. You're whatever, all those different sayings that people have, right? About that.
You're also drawing the circumstances kind of to you, right? Because it's like, if you wake up, let's say, negatively, and you say, oh my God, I don't want to do this, and I have this going on, and this bill, and on, then you already in a bad mood without even wanting to be in a bad mood. But if you really hard, and listen, this is not easy. I know, when people talk about this, oh, it sounds so easy. It's really not. No. It's an everyday practice. It's literally an everyday practice, really wanting to get up and really wanting to believe that it's going to work out for you. This is practice. This is nothing easy. It doesn't come from one day to the other. I have vision boards, David, from 2008, and some of those things are happening now. Wow. Okay. And so that stuff works for me. But if you really, you receive what you think of, right? Like, so if you think of bills and burdens and heavy and negativity and worries and all of that, it's somewhat easy to stay. And then also the people that you draw to you, you'll notice, oh, he has a problem, she has a problem, they're talking about this issue, they're talking about that issue. But if you try to change that mindset and you try to go in the other way, you all of a sudden interact with people at the grocery store, at the library, and wherever, and they talk about certain things. So you're like, yeah, I was thinking about that book too. Oh, that's great. And then, one connection forms the other, and one hand washes the other, and here you are, maybe sometimes later being invited on somebody's show.
Right.
Yeah. I had no idea that this is going to be an invitation from you. This happened to me because I saw your podcast. I love the topics. I like to hear, and it sort of happened. Right. Yeah, and so, and that's just how for me, everything kind of like went in my life, even though, believe me, I'm a very impatient person. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of times I would sit there, I'm like, dang it, what's going on? When is this happening? Like,
Yeah. I mean, you talk about it being very difficult. It is. It's very difficult to keep that mindset. It's very taxing. The only easy thing to do is to give up. Right. It's the only thing easy to say. Right. It hasn't happened yet. This isn't going to ever happen. I will never be able to do this. And it's like, I don't care anymore. That's the easy solution. Right. Yeah. It's very difficult to wake up every day and keep that motivation, especially to your point that this process is a long-term project. This is not a quick fix.
No.
It's not an easy, it's not an instant gratification type thing. So it can be very difficult to sit there and continuously tell yourself this is going to happen. This is going to work. I'm going
Yeah.
to make it, when you may not be seeing the results you want to see.
Hmm. I also feel like, just to add to this point, I also feel like, when you are just really staying in a grateful mindset every day and you just really look around, okay, you wake up and you wake up and you look at your bed and you're like, wow, I have a nice, comfortable bed. That's a blessing, right?
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
go take a shower. Wow, I took a nice shower today. What a blessing. Or you go and make yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea, or you fix yourself a nice little meal and you sit in front of your TV and you watch your favorite show or you watch your favorite podcast or whatever your favorite is, right? That's such
Yeah.
a blessing because not everybody has that. Or when you look around, if you have your mom and your dad still in your corner, your siblings, your spouse, your children, and they're healthy and you are healthy. Wow, like
It's
to me,
amazing.
my
It's
health
beautiful.
is my wealth, to be honest with you. My health is my wealth. That's literally like I can go for a run, I can go do yoga, I can read a book, I can create, I can, I mean, how beautiful is that? And that's,
Yeah.
we forget that. We
Yep.
as humans, we tend to forget those little tiny details because we're taken for granted.
Yep.
But this is,
Absolutely.
it's not, nothing is standard. Everything that you have on daily basis is because somebody up there is really looking out for you.
Yeah, no, listen, you're right. And it can very easily, like you said, get lost. These little
Mhm.
victories, these little positive things that happen that are,
Yeah,
they're just a day-to-day type of thing, but they really go a long way if you really look down and think about them.
totally.
Partially, part kind of a continuation of the conversation about it not being easy. There's going to be times when you want to be successful that you're going to have to push through.
Hmm.
To your point, the bed looks comfortable. I want to lay in
Right.
bed all day. I don't want to get up and do this. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to put in this extra time. I don't want to study after working a 10-hour shift.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just going to tell you right now. I'll be honest with you. You guys can look at my eyes. You see how baggy they look. I am like drop dead exhausted right now. I could go to sleep right now and probably sleep until 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Right.
I easily could have just said, you know what? I'm going to push this podcast back. We're going to do it a different time. Uh,
Right.
I'm going to do the other stuff that I'm doing today at a different time. But to me, it was important that even though I'm not feeling crazy energetic because I'm so tired, it was important to get this done with you because one, we made an appointment, right? We made a commitment to each other to be here.
Yeah.
And that, to me, it's not easy enough to just break a commitment like that, even though
Right.
I got the date wrong the first time. But secondly, I want to keep pushing these shows out. And if I push this show back, this recording back because I'm tired today, well, yeah, maybe this recording would be just pushed back to tomorrow, the day after, but then it becomes a lot easier for me to do that again.
Right. It's kind
Again.
of like a domino effect,
And again. Right.
It's like
Exactly.
a domino effect. Once you give in into something that you really don't feel like
Right.
doing, it's not anymore. It becomes tricky, and it's a very fine line. It's
It
a
is.
very fine
It
line
is.
of really being, having integrity to yourself and really keeping your own word with you first,
Yeah.
regardless of what you tell the world. But to me, it's always important that when I'm telling myself today I'm going to go for a run no matter what, and I don't do that, I feel bad because I gave myself a promise, like I wanted to go for this run today.
Accountability to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And
And it's great, and and it's fantastic if you have people in your corner, either your teammates or people in your team or your family, or that really keep you accountable, and not to take it as, oh, here they go again, nagging me, but rather as like, yeah, you're right. I know I have a little bit of a lack in that area of my character, and I appreciate you for helping me get better at that, versus of kind of looking at them sideways because they're pointing out your flaws. And really, of course, there's ways of how to point things out to people, even to guests or to staff members too. But I think it's important. I think it's important that everybody takes accountability for where they are and what they have and what they don't have, what they want to accomplish and what they still need to do, because we can have all these dreams on piece of paper. We can journal it all down. We can have these vision boards. But listen, you don't execute, you won't get nothing. It's going to come a point where you really need to walk the walk, right? And so that's up to any individual. You see, we can live life the way we live life for forever, But then we shouldn't
Yeah.
complain about, well, I would like to have another zero on my bank account, or I would like to, maybe go for a nice vacation to Bahamas or
Yeah.
whatever.
Like to
So,
be in better shape, like to do that, like to
right,
understand the thing better, right? It's all anything, right? This is a
right.
quote that I learned from Anthony, and he heard it from somebody else. So it's like I'm going to misquote or not be able to quote the originator of this, but the idea of don't trust your motivation, trust your discipline, right?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
The idea being is that motivation is very fleeting, right? I might be motivated to start my company. May be motivated to lose weight. I may be motivated to
Right.
learn this new topic for the first month, 2 months, week, whatever it may be. But
Hmm.
eventually, that motivation will
Hmm.
be fleeting, or it may take a day off. It may take a week off. It may take a month off. What's your discipline? Is your discipline going to be there to push you through those times when motivation is lacking? Because that's how you really become successful, is
Yeah.
having that discipline. Because it's easy to do something when you're motivated to do it. Will you
Right.
continue to do it when you're not motivated? That's what takes you to that next level.
But fundamentally, David, it really again comes down to your own promise to yourself. If you can live with knowing that you actually had this goal and deep down you can accomplish, but you didn't because out of, let's say, lack of integrity, like procrastination or anything like that, fundamentally you will have to look back on those things and tell yourself, well, I could have been here and there, but because I prefer to lay in bed longer, or because I prefer to have another piece of chocolate,
Yeah.
you know I'm
Right.
actually where I am. But if you really make it a point to really promise yourself, like really promise yourself and just believe what really has been placed in you, because it's not a coincidence. You see, me personally, I don't believe in coincidences at all.
Right.
I truly believe that anything and anyone and everything that happens in my own life is because it's meant to happen like that.
Right.
And any experience, good, bad, ugly. Some people come, some people leave, some people stay for a season, some people stay forever, and it's okay. It's just
Yeah.
learning to get the beauty of, why is this person right now in my life? What is this person trying to teach me about me? What is this
Right.
negative even experience trying to teach me about me? There's something that I need to learn from this experience, even though I might be the one being mistreated.
Right. Right. No, and I like that idea. That kind of goes back to we had a great conversation with LJ Crawford a couple shows ago, where she was talking about how she was in a really difficult place between her and her superior in a
Mhm.
sales position, and what took that relationship and turned it around to an award-winning relationship is the idea that she said to herself, "What am I doing wrong?
Right,
How am I contributing to this toxic environment? Not just
right.
it's him, it's him, it's him, it's him, it's him. It's like, yeah, he has his faults, but
Sure.
I'm also contributing. So how am I doing that?" And holding herself accountable to make that change. And that flipped the entire script of their dynamic. So anybody out there, I would recommend definitely checking out LJ Crawford's interview to hear that full story. It was a really a powerful, powerful one.
Yeah, I
When
actually saw it. Yeah, I actually saw it. And yes, I totally agree with that. I completely agree with that. If you're being whole within you and you are allowing yourself to really look in the mirror and say, what, that I really messed that up. Like that character, whatever about my character is really not good. It's really not beneficial, first of all, to myself, because it doesn't suit me. It doesn't suit my soul. It doesn't suit my energy. It doesn't suit, how I feel.
yeah,
And then also go a step further and really be transparent to yourself. You don't even have to share this with anybody, but just for yourself, and acknowledge the dance that you've been dancing with specific people or specific circumstances where, like you said, you contributed a specific something for this to be here. Because it's never just somebody's fault. It's always something that someone contributed to something else that kind of
right,
met in the middle and
right,
created this. But you see, the beautiful thing about that is the positive ones. You see, if we
yeah,
if we come in positively like this, and somebody else like this, and we collaborate and we brainstorm, we can make this this huge thing of amazing things happen
yeah,
together. That's
yeah.
why I'm all for, let's collaborate with our staff. Let your staff speak. Let them speak their mind.
Empowerment.
Collaborate with them. They have beautiful brains. Let them work. Let them evolve. Give them the freedom of expression,
Yeah,
even though you don't want to maybe implement everything they're bringing to the table. But hey, there's going to be something that is going to be benefiting to
yeah.
everybody.
And you may hear something that you mold and something that actually works, right? Just it's the idea
Yeah,
of empowerment, right? Empowering your people to be successful. So
yeah,
we're coming up on time here. That went really, really quick.
yeah.
These
This is great.
conversations
Wow.
seem to rush, seem to fly by because they're just having so much fun. So
Yeah.
give us some final words. Let us know how we can learn more about ZD Hospitality and where we can connect with you.
Yes, you guys can connect with me on my website, www.zdhospitality.com. You can reach me on Instagram. I just started. I have, I'm always up for more followers, ZD Hospitality Coaching. I'm all about teaching, inspiring. I stand behind everybody that wants to grow and wants to just make their business stand out. Yeah, I'm here for a virtual coffee, for a couple coffee face to face, for a nice glass of wine, for anything that people might be open to. And I'm also just here to share and help you guys out. For me, this is not about making big of millions, even though at one point I know this will come. But like for me, this is really, we are all in this together. Every hospitality owner right now in this moment has different type of struggles. And if there's anything that I can contribute, maybe just with, like what we did right now, a half-hour talk, I'm happy to offer that. I'm completely happy to offer. And if I can help you with just some suggestions or whatever, I'm here for that.
I love that. Well, Zanya, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you
Really,
too.
really appreciate it. And again, anybody out there, take her up on that offer. Reach out to her, say
Yeah,
hello. It can go a long way. You never know where it could take you.
that's right. That's right. Thank you so much. I really appreciated this. Thank you for inviting me. This was a very, very, very big pleasure for me to
Oh,
be here. I
it was a
appreciate
blast. Thank you so much. I really
it.
appreciate you joining me. Wow, another really, really great episode. And that last part, take that to heart. We talked with Michael Weinberg last episode about if you're someone, the importance of reaching out to people and building your network, especially during these current times, and how easy it is with tools like LinkedIn and other social media tools where you can connect with people directly that you never would have been able to connect with in the past. If you don't feel comfortable reaching out to someone kind of like a cold call, if you don't feel comfortable just exposing yourself to that potential quote unquote rejection, use someone like myself as a practice tool. Use someone like Zanya as a practice tool. I'm sure I just butchered her name again. I'm looking at her in the back. Did I butcher your name, Zanya? Did I say it okay? I said it okay. So reach out to her. Use that as a practice tool to practice getting out there and exposing yourself to people that you don't know, so that when you do have someone you want to reach out to push your career forward, you already feel a little more confident in that. You know how you want to pursue that. So please, I implore you to take advantage of that. Go back through all these episodes straight through. Everyone has said that they would be open to speaking to anybody who reaches out to them. So this is, I think, episode 23, 22, 23. So you have at least 24 people that you can reach out to and practice that LinkedIn messaging or that cold reach out. So it's right there for you to take. And that goes back to what we were just talking about. The opportunity is there for you. If you want to make that change, if you want to take that step, whatever it may be, it's right there for you to do. You just have to make the choice now to do it. And obviously, at the end of the day, life is all about choices. And some will take you one way and some will take you another way. And we have to hold ourselves accountable for making those choices. And whatever our path is based on those choices, making sure that we're looking at ourselves when we're kind of reviewing what has happened. So another great episode. Thank you all for joining me today. Appreciate you guys being my guest. We'll be back next week with another great episode. And of course, as always, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook. I want to connect with you. If you want to be on the show, reach out, let me know. We'll get you all taken care of. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.